Pentagon report is detailing a dramatic increase in UFO sightings, more than 350 since 2021. Is there life on other planets? Scientists may be one step closer to an answer.
There is very compelling evidence that we may not be alone.
The caveat is it's a completely insufficient description, and someone's going to be listening who has done this. It's like nothing you could say is going to come close.
Yeah.
But
Where proof is always needed, I present you 5-MeO-DMT. Imagine that I gave you a small, naturally produced in the brain drug and told you, here, do this, and your entire outlook on the world and life only being here and in the physical will be shattered immediately. And you will not only feel that the world you're seeing in there is real, but in fact more real than the world that you are used to. Isn't it crazy that we have the means to see, feel, and believe in the most incredible things here and now in the world? The God particles, so to speak, to unlock secrets of everything that is very possibly attached to all things greater than just our own existence, whether that be God, spirits, the afterlife, aliens, or the multiverse. Most all mainstream respected scientists believe in the multiverse. Our brains are world building machines made up of thousands of columns in the frontal cortex that tell us what the world around us is supposed to look like. The visual cortex can also produce naturally DMT and not just the pineal gland. Maybe aliens are simply these beings on a different plane of reality that is different from our own physical planet and not from another physical planet in outer space, being as every single person who has ever taken a high dose of DMT sees these beings. On the Kardashev scale, beings able to harness the power of the entire planet they are on are a scale 1 society. By the way, we are below this and not even a scale 1 society. Then beings able to harness all of the energy of their planet and the nearest star is a scale 2. So on and so forth it goes for the Kardashev scale. But what if it went in reverse and narrowed down and down, lower and lower, to get to the level of atoms, or even below this, to the fundamental particles? Is this where the complex, intelligent beings from the DMT world reside? Quite possibly. As I said before, our brains truly are world-building machines. Therefore, everything that is all around you, the table in front of you, this computer, this microphone, our own bodies, we are seeing something that our brain connects with our eyes and manufactures for us. For instance, an ant walking in the grass is a physical being, though they are small. Regardless of their intelligence, they walk in the grass in the yard. They have an anthill. They stay close enough by it. Now, if ants wander off farther away, which they do, to go out and look for food, it is probably still within your front yard. If you even granted that they crossed the street and went other places around, at most, the existence of the world that they live in is about smaller size, really, than your own neighborhood. And that is simply what they know the world to be, even though they are physical beings just like us who are living here within the same dimension. Our world view is produced by the brain. And when the brain, a complex world building machine that it is, tells us that we are seeing something impossible or we did not see something that actually happened, there are little error codes that go up in the brain. For instance, if you were to see a magic trick and somebody makes it look like the card that they are holding in their hand floats up and levitates in the air, our eyes see that and therefore tell us that card is levitating. And the split second in your brain in which you say, oh, but that can't be real, so I wonder how they're doing that, that is the error code that is going up in your brain and telling it that the world building machine is broken in this area. It needs to immediately focus on that and change your perception of what is going on. When people take 5-MeO DMT, they all, as I said, see intelligent, complex beings that reside in a world that is completely alien to us. For instance, my point being, if you were to just get high on certain drugs, even psilocybin mushrooms, the world is still all around you. The desk is still in front of you. The grass is still outside your window. The tree is still there. Your legs and your arms are still there, and you are still a being here in the current reality. However, things are shifted a bit. Colors change. The walls sweat. There are certain little things that you can see if you stare at something and watch it changing a bit. This is kind of like an initiative kind of level to psychedelics, really, because DMT will shatter your entire worldview because you can't see the table in front of you anymore. You can close your eyes and you will still be in the same dimension in which scared you because it feels so real. And also, when you're smoking marijuana or drinking or even not intoxicated but thinking silly, we can imagine that, sure, if I got high, maybe I saw a hot dog floating in the sky with wings. And you would think to yourself, my mind can create that right now off the top of my head. However, it is still creating things that do exist in the world, and your world building machine of a brain is mixing those things around to make it into something silly, to prove basically that your brain can create whatever and it doesn't have to be based in reality. But in reality, these are things that we see. The hot dog is a real thing. Wings are a real thing. Birds, planes, we fly. We know it's possible. So we've just put together an amalgamation of real things and made it into something silly, almost to prove that we can do that. A building would look like a building, but what about if it was made of diamonds and they changed colors? Well, this doesn't exist in reality. However, again, we are mixing together things that we know in reality to distort them into something. This is called our imagination. However, the DMT world has no kind of relationship to the reality that we know. There is nothing that the absolute shifting patterns, vivid colors can produce. There is nothing like that in reality, but yet our world it is there when we take DMT. Our world is gone. This new world is there. It is there in front of us for all of us to see. If you take this thing, it will show it to you. And a lot of people get scared because they are forced into believing in something greater and absolutely more incredible than what we ever thought was possible. The fact that there are beings there and they are not just sifting in and out of our view, and our mind is not creating them to where they can do one thing and go away. They will tell you things telepathically, messages that you're not telling yourself, as a matter of fact, because 90% of the time when people do these trip reports off of DMT, they say that the beings are forcing them into uncomfortable thoughts and bringing up things that their inner mind has to deal with, and we stow away on purpose. I do believe that there is something absolutely fantastic and unimaginable that is beyond certainly me, but even our head lead scientists, our greatest minds that the world has to offer, who most of them talk about this subject. I do believe it is beyond us. It is something that, by all means of the word, is alien to us. And if you use that Kardashev scale and you reverse it down and down, further and further into fundamental particles, even beneath atoms, and you could exist in a place like that, you would basically be harm-free. It is basically a very safe way to exist. And you would be existing on another plane that we recognize by knowing that these particles exist, that is there, but yet we cannot see an atom with our own eyes, but you believe it. Taking 5-MeO-DMT will shatter your worldview instantly, and it will make you come to terms with what seems it has to be an extension of what scientists talk about when they speak of the multiverse. And what I offer you in this short special episode here is to tell you that this may very well, for me, be the existence of non-human beings, even if they are not from a distant planet in outer space. And for you who have maybe always wanted to believe in God and say you do and go to church, and if that is in your mind and you take this, your mind may wander to a place like that, where you think that this is a spirit realm. This is an astral plane that I have traveled to that is beyond human existence. But yet you don't need to go anywhere.
And then you think, wait a minute, if that's true, what's happening when you smoke DMT? Well, you're entering this hyperdimensional world filled with these super intelligent beings in this highly complex, constructed, inorganic space. Is there a possibility that we are somehow interacting with this type omega minus civilization? Is that what's going on here?